Have you ever wondered if princesses went to school? And I don't mean some fancy royal school that only princesses and princes go to. I mean an everyday normal school that you would go to. Well, in Miranda and Maude, The Princess and the Absolutely Not a Princess book, a princess goes to school. And guess what? Princess Miranda Rose La Poinsettia doesn't want to go. She wants her old tutor back, who arrives at noon, takes a nap at 1, and promptly leaves at 2. She also wants to organize her nail polish, arrange furniture in the castle, and plan parties. Now, Maude Brandywine Mayhew Kay is absolutely not a princess, and she is super excited to go to school. In fact, every year when her dad asks how she wants to learn, she totally says, at school. Now, Maude and Miranda are two very different kids who actually have a lot more in common than they think. And when a rough first week turns the two of them into rivals, friendship between the two looks a little impossible. Princess Miranda absolutely hates hard-boiled eggs. She says they are revolting, and the smell gives her a headache. Maude, on the other hand, loves eggs. She actually brings one to school every day, and the two sit across from each other. And every little thing they do annoys the other. Maude is a bit messy, raises chickens, and roller skates to school every day. Princess Miranda? Well, she's a princess. But one day, when Princess Miranda fails to invite Maude to her birthday party, which breaks rule number 87 in the official rulebook of Mountain River Valley Elementary, Maude is determined to teach her a lesson by starting a class-wide birthday party boycott. But there's just one catch. Maude has to convince all of 3B to not go, which is actually a bit harder than she expected, because which kid doesn't want to go to a party that has a super rare white lion, an ice cream bar that has ice cream that hasn't been invented, a super cool fashion show, bowling, swimming, fireworks, and so much more? This hilarious chapter book is perfect for those who like to laugh out loud, and it also reminds us that friendship can come from the most unlikely places. Now, let's go ahead and read a couple chapters in Miranda and Maude. I'm actually going to read a few chapters of when their rivalry really starts to show. Okay, Chapter 10, Day 3 at Mountain River Valley Elementary. Maude, who had stayed up late reading about growing tomatoes, and Miranda, who couldn't fall asleep on school nights, were both tired on the third day of school. But that was the only similar thing. Maude wore an orange shirt that said "Fight the Power," her dirty brown cargo pants, 2 different colored socks, and combat boots. Miranda wore gold wedge shoes and a very shiny pink pantsuit. When the bell rang, Maude, who had overslept again, rushed to her desk and set out her U-journal, 3 hard-boiled eggs, her harmonica, and 5 pencils. Miranda put some things on her desk, too. She still hadn't found a pencil, but she'd brought a small pink candle, a diamond box of tissues, and a doily to cover her desk. She lined everything up in a very neat row. "You can't light that candle," Maude told her. "It breaks Rule 77. No burning sticks, leaves, homework, metal, or candles on school grounds." "I'm not going to burn it," Miranda said quietly. "I just smell it." She picked the candle up and breathed in the sweet smell of violets in the rain. If she kept her nose on the candle and closed her eyes, she could almost pretend she didn't smell the revolting hard-boiled eggs. Chapter 11, Day 4 at Mountain River Valley Elementary. On the 4th day at Mountain River Valley, Maude brought in 4 hard-boiled eggs, her orange handkerchief, a rusty harmonica, a set of yellow false teeth, a snakeskin, and a miniature ship in a bottle. Miranda brought in her doily, 2 pink candles, 2 tissues in the diamond box, and a small bottle of nail polish called Pinktastically Pink. Chapter 12. Friday at Mount River Valley Elementary. On the 5th day of school, Maude put a piece of blue cheese, 8 pencils, the rusty harmonica, the orange handkerchief, the false teeth, and the snakeskin on her desk. There was so much stuff, the desk was barely visible. But then she reached into her green canvas bag and took out 6 hard-boiled eggs. She lined them up in a crooked row. Next to her, Miranda reached into her fancy leather bag and set up, in neat rows, 3 candles, the doily, a small oval mirror, 4 bottles of nail polish, and a shiny ruby pen, because she still couldn't find a pencil anywhere in the castle. It was a pen that brought everything to an end. It was so shiny and sparkly that everyone in 3B, even Miss Kind, kept looking at it. "That is a lovely pen, Miranda," Miss Kind said, right before giving out yet another practice mandatory national reading and writing and math exam. "But very distracting." "Hard-boiled eggs are distracting too," Miranda whispered, because she wasn't used to talking in class. "Excuse me," Miss Kind said. The princess felt too shy to repeat what she had said, but Hilary Greenlight Miller, who had amazing hearing, yelled, "She said, 'Hard-boiled eggs are distracting too, Miss Kind.'" In 1 second, 30 eyes were on Maude. Maude scrunched her face. "There's nothing wrong with hard-boiled eggs," she told herself. There was no rule against them. "Maude," Miss Kind walked over to Maude's desk. "Why do you have 6 hard-boiled eggs on your desk?" "They're from my amazing chickens," Maude said, trying to sound proud. "I collect their eggs every morning after I sing to them. There's no rule in the official rules of Mountain River Valley Elementary about hard-boiled eggs." Miss Kind looked at Maude and her eggs, then at Miranda, then back at Maude's eggs. Finally, she said, "No, there's no rule against having hard-boiled eggs in school, but since lunch isn't for several hours, please put your eggs in your lunch bag." "Maude always eats gross food," Hilary Greenlight Miller announced. "School lunches are grosser," Maude said. Miranda couldn't help but nod as she watched Maude and Hilary stick their tongues out at each other. School lunches looked absolutely disgusting. It was all she could do to choke down a few bites of her own lunch, since the cafeteria smelled almost as bad as the gym and was as loud as the music room. "Girls," Miss Kind said, "there will be no more discussion of lunch. Maude, put your eggs away." "Do I have to?" "It's not in the official—" "It's a class rule," Miss Kind said quickly. "Put the harmonica away too. And the snakeskin, the cheese, and false teeth. You don't want distractions while taking the practice mandatory national reading and writing and math exam." "I'm not distracted," Maude grumbled, putting her things away. "I always get the highest score on the practice mandatory national reading and writing and math exam." Princess Miranda sneezed and took one of the tissues out of the diamond box. Maude pointed to the princess. "How come she gets to have stuff on her desk? Because she's a princess?" Miss Kind looked at all the things that were lined up on Miranda's desk. Then she cleared her throat. "Class, starting today, all personal items will be kept in your backpacks." "Girls, please. Now we must start the practice exam." As Miss Kind handed out the green paper with all the ovals, Maude glared at Miranda. "This is your fault," she said. "What did I do?" Miranda whispered. "Miss Kind made a new rule." Maude looked at the princess. It was that sparkly pen that caused all the problems. It wasn't fair, she thought. Why should Miranda and her stupid pen have so much power? And we're going to leave you guys at that. So if you want to find out what happens between Princess Miranda and Maude, I highly recommend that you come on down to the library and check out Miranda and Maude. And if you enjoy this book, there are actually 2 more in the series of Miranda and Maude. That's all I have for this week, so keep on reading, and I will see you all next week. Bye!